Summer heat and humidity for at least half the week, but we've got some big relief coming at the end of the week. And we're going to tell you everything that's going to go on in between. And there's a few things going on tonight, and we'll tell you about that too on this Sunday night. Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And you can support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast by doing your Amazon shopping via our referral link that's pinned to the top of the chat board. It's also on the description of this podcast on YouTube, right underneath the title. Just use the link to get you to Amazon, do your shopping, and Amazon throws us back a little bit of coin for sending you there. And it doesn't cost you one extra cent, not a cent out of your own pocket. And we appreciate those of you who have done so because it keeps the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, the live stream part of the podcast, commercial free. And Tempest by Weatherflow. Get the revolutionary Tempest weather system and join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. I've got one. And it's great because it's all on your mobile device unless you want it on a big screen. And they have a big screen option too. You use the coupon code Summer 2025 because if you do,
You'll get 10 big percent off.
yes, you will.
Yes.
Don't you wish that we could skip the next 3 days or so and get to Thursday so that we can get to that really nice air mass that's coming at the end of the week?
I told you, I looked at that. I was in Vermont. This was, by the way, one of the highlights of my summertime, being able to go up to Vermont and bond with my longtime astronomy compatriot, Dennis Cassia, who is on the chat board tonight. It is always a wonderful thing to get together with Dennis and his wonderful wife, Kim. And I did look over the weekend, Joe, at the various models, and I got excited when I saw what was coming our way for later this week. In fact, one of the things that we did in Vermont, or we were going to try to do, was to look up into the sky and look up at the stars. We were at the Stellafane convention that happens every year around new moon at this time. And I said to Dennis, I said, what a pity. I said, it should have been next weekend because we didn't see anything. I mean,
I
the
was going to
sky,
ask you if it was cloudy.
well, the skies were hazy, very, and
Smoky.
somewhat smoky. I think we were getting some smoke from forest fire activity up in northwest Canada got blown down in our direction. The thing I was happy about yesterday was the drop in the dew point temperatures. It actually was comfortable for a good part, if not most, of the day yesterday
Mhm.
compared to Friday. But it was kind of hazy and somewhat smoky and cloudy on Friday. You didn't see anything last night. It was mainly cloudy. But next weekend, well, actually, as you pointed out, starting on Thursday of next week and continuing through Friday and into next weekend, what it's a midsummer night's dream, if you will,
Yeah.
a Canadian cold front, and this front is going to have some oomph to it. This one is going to not only knock out the humidity, it's going to lower the temperatures significantly. But you're right. I do wish that we didn't have to go through the next 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They're going to be hot. They're going to be humid, but it'll all break late Wednesday and into early Thursday with thunderstorms, and then after that, we're home free with some great weather
Yeah.
for the opening of August.
Probably Friday and Saturday not getting out of the 70s.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Sounds good to
Actually,
me.
that
My
air,
birthday, my
some,
birthday is on Saturday, and I do know that when I came into this world back in the 50s, I won't say what the heck, I'll say the 1956. August 2nd, 1956 was a letter perfect day. The high temperature in New York City that day was 73 degrees, blue sky, bright sun, low humidity. I suspect the dew points were in the 40s. A perfectamundo of a weather day. I doubt very much if we've had very many August 2nds similar to that, but I will tell you that this coming Saturday probably will be a good replication of that my
right.
first my first day back in 1956.
And meanwhile, the next 3 days, it's heat and humidity. Probably not much or any thunderstorm activity, but heat and humidity for tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
absolutely. But what else is new? But the interesting thing is, and I think on ABC 7, Jeff Smith, their very good on-camera meteorologist, pointed out that so far at Central Park, as hot and as sticky and as humid and as oppressive as it has seemed for much of this summer, so far Central Park has only had 8 days at or above 90 degrees. And this is in sharp to Newark Airport. Now, Newark is how many miles away from Central Park as
Not
the crow
far.
flies? You know, Newark has had something like 24 days already with 90 plus degree temperatures. This coming
Yeah, and again, the Newark Airport thermometer sits right on the runway. If you're driving on the Jersey Turnpike, you actually can see it. The weather station. It's literally right on the main runway, surrounded by concrete. I
yep,
mean, Newark is probably what 10 miles, 10 miles, and an hour and a half drive from New York, from Midtown Manhattan. Is that right?
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
nuts.
this is going to be only the second heat wave for Central Park. However, for Newark, this is going to be, I think, either the fourth or fifth heat wave. There's been such a tremendous difference. I will tell you this also, Joe, that up here in Putnam Valley, we've had more probably 90 degree. I haven't kept a tally, a running tally, um, on officially. Maybe I'll have that tomorrow night. But I mean, we've had more than a few 90-degree days up here. More, I think, than Central Park, but certainly nothing to compare with what Newark Airport has had. So
Would you like to know? Hang on just a second. I'm going to pull up my Tempest by weather flow history. Um, so today I got to 90. Okay, so that's one, two, three. Just counting for the month. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 days this month at 90. Okay. But the hottest day it was 92. Okay.
okay.
And then for June, one, two, three. I'm going back now. Three, three. So what did I say? 11 for this month for July and three for June. So that's 14 days. And it was one day in June it got to 93. So that's the hottest I've been all summer.
Okay,
Not too
that's not
shabby.
bad when you consider
Higher
you're
than
in the
Central
deep.
Park, but lower than Newark.
Well, I mean, you're in the deep south. It's expected, I guess, that you're supposed to have more 90-degree days than Central Park. But uh, all things considered, you really have not done all that badly in
No,
terms of
not
the
at
heat.
all. Welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board. Hope everyone had a great weekend, and welcome to those of you watching in the background on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. Just a slight schedule change for tomorrow. We will start our show tomorrow at roughly 8 o'clock, maybe 8:05. Just a heads up. So we'll be on a little later tomorrow, but our regular start time is 7:35 Sunday through Thursday. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. If you like the show, hit the like button. And no show on Friday and Saturday unless there's a storm around, and we are not planning to see one next weekend. So and we're all going to be able to take some time off and enjoy the that air mass, which, by the way, might even get down to me to some extent here in North Georgia, which will be really, really nice. One of the
I
things,
would I would not think I would not I would not put it past parts of the Hudson Valley, the lower Hudson Valley, next weekend or maybe even Friday night, Saturday night, of seeing temperatures in the 40s.
oh
Uh,
yeah, not impossible.
yeah.
The smoke thing did actually catch me a little bit off guard yesterday. I wasn't really anticipating that. And we still have some air quality alerts that are still up. We also have heat advisories that are up as well in parts of the Northeast, and there's a gap, and then there's a whole bunch of them in the middle and South Atlantic states. We have extreme heat warnings up for eastern North Carolina, southeastern Virginia, the coastal counties of South Carolina, a handful of counties in eastern Georgia, also from Mississippi and northeast Louisiana northward along the Mississippi River on either side as you go to as far north as Illinois. Then another area from Iowa and eastern Nebraska and South Dakota on up into Minnesota. And we've got one severe thunderstorm watch that's we're at work right now in northern Minnesota, where there is some severe weather going on. And as we check out the satellite loop tonight, and I got the lightning strikes are up, and there's actually I'm going to give this just a quick refresh here. Um, a lot of lightning strikes going on across southern Virginia. Oddly enough, the thunderstorm activity today set up a little bit further south than advertised by the models, which was also caught me a little bit off guard. And Joe Rayo's got the local radars as we'll take a look at what's going on across Virginia and West Virginia, back to southern Ohio, southern Indiana, and southern Illinois,
Yeah, and
among other places.
Tom Contino asking on the chat board, do I camp out at Stellafane? I used to do that, Joe. I used to. My very first Stellafane was 1974, 51 years ago, and up until the mid 80s, I used to do indeed camp out at Stellafane. And in those final few years in the 80s, so did Mrs. Rayo. I introduced her to Stellafane, but now,
Now
no.
you're at the age where you need to be close to you be in a comfortable bed and near and close to a working toilet with privacy.
Absolutely, you are absolutely 100% true. And I was up a few times last night to adjust the air conditioning. Let's put it that
Uh,
way. So
well,
I mean, there's some people, I know a friend of mine who refers to camping as sleeping in the streets. Well, it's not necessarily the streets when you camp at Stellafane, but, good luck. I'll tell you what, though, if Stellafane were next weekend and we had the opportunity, I might actually consider camping because next weekend it's going to be glorious with the low humidity and the bright sunshine and just near perfect weather. I tell you, Joe, I'm getting excited. I'm really looking forward to Thursday through Sunday of next week. But anyway,
good.
so would you like the radar now or
Yeah, go for it.
okay? Let me get started here. Um, I'll get to the Zoom share here, and we will start. Since you mentioned Virginia, most notably, here it is. And my goodness, there is a squall line which is dropping from northern Virginia quite rapidly, almost due south. By the end of the loop, it is stretching across, well, from Virginia Beach, Norfolk area, westward to just to the north of the North Carolina border. And some of this activity looks to be rather potent. I'm not sure just how severe the cells are, but I'm sure that with all of the humidity, that if you're underneath any of these thunderstorms, you're getting hit with some torrential downpours, probably getting some vivid and dangerous lightning, and maybe some gusty, strong winds as well. But you can see again, it's moving almost north to south, and there are also some storms located just off of the Virginia Cape. Excuse me, the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So let's go further. Let's go further back to the west. Come on, playing it out that way. This view is from Charleston, West Virginia, or Ruthdale, if you will, and the storms are moving through central and southern sections of West Virginia, also cutting across eastern sections of Kentucky. There are a few stray cells that are located over the southwestern part of Virginia. Kind of reminds me of when I used to forecast the weather for a little Christian radio station in southwest Virginia, Richlands, Virginia, WGTH. And yeah, I don't remember exactly what county it was located in, but it was in this area here. You can see that if you are in that vicinity now, you're probably seeing some very ominous looking skies and some heavy boomers that are taking place. Why don't we just go up to the north, up to where I was, up in Vermont. We'll check out the activity courtesy of our friends in Albany. And it's showing right now, and maybe Dennis, since he's still up in the Springfield, Vermont area. Dennis, if you're hearing thunder right now, it's probably coming from this thunderstorm cell, which forms south of Lake Champlain and is now working its way on a north northwest to south southeast path, heading, it looks like, into, well, actually, let me see, VSF is Springfield, so it's not hitting Springfield directly, it's off to the west of Springfield. And down here, this is Interstate 91. That's the route that we took to come home today, which, when we got into parts of Massachusetts and Connecticut, was incredibly crowded. We also saw a couple of incredible accidents, too. But, what else? It's a Sunday. Everybody's roaming around in spite of whatever weather is out there. But you can see there are some thunderstorms across parts of central Vermont and also across portions of upstate New York, the Adirondack area. But for the most part, nothing is going on of any significance. New York City area, a couple of stray cells, but really, again, nothing really to write home about weather-wise. Let's go back toward the Virginia's area. Let's go into Morristown, Tennessee, and you can see again some of those stray thunderstorms in southwestern Virginia and West Virginia, but nothing really is happening over Tennessee. One more check over in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and there you see an arc of heavy duty activity, which very quickly diminishes. I mean, looking back 3 hours ago, this is a fairly substantial area of showers and storms, which just literally has fallen apart. There's one stray cell lingering, and even that kind of evaporates right before your eyes down over the southern end of North Carolina as it moves out over the ocean. But it looks like tonight, Joe, the main activity, and you can see it showing up even on this view from Morehead City, North Carolina, right here, right along the immediate North Carolina Virginia border. There are those big, nasty thunderstorms that are going to be crossing through into northernmost North Carolina over the next, I would say, next hour or two. Anywhere else we should go, or?
Yeah, go up to southern Minnesota, near Minneapolis, because the radars are just to the west of Minneapolis are pretty busy.
Well, here's Oh, my goodness, you're absolutely right. Here is Minneapolis, St. Paul, and you can see that there are some clusters of very heavy shower and thunderstorm activity that is working its way generally on an west to east direction. Again, here is Minneapolis, so I am sure that the folks in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area are going to get hit. Maybe not quite as hard because the thunderstorms apparently are beginning to peter out a little bit as the loop progresses, but still a fairly formidable area of shower and storm activity taking place out over the land of 1,000 lakes, and that will be something to watch. So we'll go a little bit just off to the west of Minneapolis. Let's go into northeastern South Dakota. This is the Aberdeen area, and you can see that these storms fired up initially over northeastern South Dakota and have since worked their way into Minnesota. There's still a couple of massive cells, if you will, or clusters of big thunderstorms right here, right here. You can see, and they're getting ready to move into again the western part of Minnesota. But in the immediate Aberdeen area, and especially to the north, up in North Dakota, nothing really, no activity of any significance. So it's just again the area around Minnesota that apparently is getting hit pretty hard with thunderstorm activity right now.
The Storm Prediction Center has got that area in an enhanced risk, and there it is. Two severe thunderstorm watch boxes are up across much of the state of Minnesota. A small part of it extends back into eastern South Dakota. Another small part of it nudges into northwest Wisconsin. We have a marginal risk in the mid-Atlantic states and a slight risk centered around eastern Virginia and near the Delmarva Peninsula. That, of course, as Joe pointed out, with those radar views playing out there too. The outlook for tomorrow, nothing in the northeast down to Maryland and Delaware. General thunderstorms further south. They should be widely scattered. And then we have a large area of marginal to slight risk for Montana east again into southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, and western Wisconsin. And there's a 2% tornado risk in eastern South Dakota and southern Minnesota. Day three, which takes us to Tuesday into Wednesday morning, a marginal risk covering much of the same area, just a shade further south, getting into Nebraska, Iowa, and into Illinois, and still nothing along the coastal plain from southeast New England down to Chesapeake Bay, and just scattered general thunderstorms from Maine down to Florida and west back into the Ohio Valley. Rainfall this week is going to come probably Thursday with showers and storms with the important cold front for that particular day. And WPC has got an inch to an inch and a half right along the immediate coast, a little bit less as you work your way inland. Heavier rain amounts in the southeast. With several inches in the Carolinas, also several inches in the western Carolinas into North Georgia, from my lips to God's ears, because I'd rather have the rain come down than me having to be out there watering every day. And much of the Gulf states, at least an inch and a half of rain, in some cases 2.5 inches this week. In Minnesota and into northern Iowa, we're looking at the potential for several inches. Of course, with thunderstorms, we know those amounts could easily double, and there's flash flood risk that goes with that. And also back in western Kansas and eastern Colorado, a rather hefty amount of precip, inch and a half to some 2 and 3 inch amounts being indicated along and east of I-25. The southwest is fairly dry, a little bit of shower activity in the northwest. And from Montana northwestward up into Canada, we've got patchy areas of a half to 3/4 of an inch. So, looking at the upper air this evening, we've got a big upper high across the south from South Carolina west to Louisiana. There's a cutoff low in the Gulf of Alaska. There's another cutoff low on the west shores of northern Hudson Bay in northern Alberta province, and that is swinging southeastward with a trough. You'll see that the upper ridge this week migrates westward, so the hottest temperatures are going to be to the west, but we're going to be on the edge of this for the next 3 days, and we'll wait for this trough to swing around with that low then moving to Labrador, and you get to Thursday, that trough swings through the east, and you get that nice cool air mass that builds in. Nice northwest flow that runs from the Arctic across Canada into southeastern Canada and New England. I think the coolest temperatures are probably going to be in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, and upstate New York, but a fair amount of that dry air is going to make it down into the mid-Atlantic states. And then going into the longer term, just and I'm taking a look at this for the first time, um, the jet in Canada kind of pulls out, but there's still some flow across the U.S. with upper lows here and there. There's one that's forecast at the end of the week of August, around August 9th. Saturday, August 9th, there's like a cutoff low in Pennsylvania. There's another trough that's running from Iowa down into Arkansas and Oklahoma. And then as we move through the month to about August 11th, which is the last day, it looks like the upper pattern is kind of in flux. Also, the Europeans picking up on something in the tropics late in the period. Out in the Atlantic, well out at 60 degrees west, there's a little closed low over there. But for now, the tropics are quiet on the Atlantic side. We actually have something on the Central Pacific that we're going to take a look at momentarily. So, some showers and storms overnight into Monday morning. Wait, I'm sorry, let me roll back. I'm sorry. Let me roll back. I was looking at 2 weeks from now. The showers and storms that are sort of scattered. See, this is funny because the European had all this shower and thunderstorm activity for this afternoon in upstate New York, and the whole state of New Jersey, the Hudson Valley in storms. None of that happened. Okay, it's all down in Virginia, and that in that area it's been generally underdone. Anyway, that all gets out of the way, and you can see there's really not much of anything for tomorrow. We're sort of in this no man's land of higher pressures, but it's very weak. It's the upper high that's really driving all of this. We've got a squall line that seems to come out of the Dakotas and heads across Minnesota tomorrow night into Wisconsin, and then eventually over into Michigan. But again, here in the east, it's mostly dry with scattered storms. And then we start to get into Wednesday, and this is where you begin to see that drier push. I'm just going to back this up. Thing is moving on its own here. Hold on just a second. I hit a button that I shouldn't have hit. There you go. So let's roll this back. But starting on Tuesday, when you see and Wednesday, you see the weather front that's starting to push down into the lower lakes, and there's a high that pops up there in near North Dakota. So that's that cool air mass, that cool high that comes down. 1029, 1030 pressure high for this time of year is pretty strong. Now, when the front reaches the East Coast on Thursday, it looks like we'll get into some showers and thunderstorms. It probably temporarily stalls before you get a wave that develops on it. And then finally, the main push comes in on Friday. The European actually wants to linger the front around into Friday with a low that develops on it. I don't know how real that is, but we'll still get to the same place with much cooler air coming in at the end of the week. And then for the weekend, next weekend, it's nothing but high pressure and dry air for both Saturday and Sunday. As far as the tropics go, uh, well, there's some kind of little homegrown system of some sort that shows up on the European here um, next weekend. Doesn't really do much with it. You'll notice, by the way, the frontal boundary does make it down almost to me, and with me being close to the frontal boundary here in North Georgia, it's probably going to mean for chances for showers and storms beginning, well, starting on Wednesday, actually some even starting on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and then again on Thursday, and then that frontal boundary kind of stalls out briefly across the southeast on Friday, bringing more showers and storms. That's actually going to hold the temperatures down quite a bit, even in the deep south, and then ultimately it'll just go out. But the air, Joe, in the east looks very dry right through Sunday. I'm going to check something here. I just want to look at the dew points.
While you check that, I just want to thank the chairman, Scott Briller, for hitting the tip jar. And he points out, Joe, that today Tampa hit 100 degrees, and that is their highest temperature that they've ever recorded. I don't know how many years that, we know that Central Park has been collecting weather data since 1869. I don't know how long Tampa has been collecting their data, but in any case, 100 for Tampa today, and that is the highest temperature that they've ever had in that part of the Florida Peninsula.
By the way, the European has a tough time bringing the dew points down. The GFS has 40 dew points by Saturday morning, but you don't have to go far to get to where dew points are basically in the upper 50s and low 60s. So it's not terrible. But eventually the lower dew points do make it much further south, even down into Virginia Saturday afternoon. Actually, Joe, to me, the GFS wants to bring the dew points down to 50 by next Sunday. I hope that's
You know,
right. I'd
I,
love
you
to
know,
see it.
I for whatever reason, Joe, and I don't understand it myself. When you look at these tropical tidbit maps and you look at such things as dew points, and then you try to match them up with the same model, let's say in this case the GFSX, the tabular data, and you try to see if they can match the dew point. They never do match. I mean,
No,
these maps always seem to go a bit overboard, or more so, with dew point temperatures, they might show you a 45 dew point in Albany, and you look at the tabular data, and it says that the dew point isn't going to get any lower than 52 or 53. They still line up in terms of suggesting a big drop in the dew points, but they never seem to match in terms of the actual dew point value. So I don't know.
I'm trying
David
to get
Fuller,
a.
David Fuller wants the dew points to stay up. He said, "Please keep the dew points up, please."
Oh,
David, you've had your fair share of high dew points so far this summer. Give the rest of us a break.
I know, right? No, no. I'm trying to find. All right, here it is. So this is the. I'm trying to get a loop here out in the Pacific. There's a wide shot here. By the way, David Filler hitting super chat. Thank you. All right, come on, load the map. Come on. It's coming in sliver by sliver by sliver, little by
Uh,
little.
kind of reminds you of waiting for the map to come out on the NAFAX machine, you
I
know?
mean, seriously? All right, we're south of Hawaii, so I'm just gonna. So we have a new tropical depression in the central Pacific. Okay,
Okay,
and
yeah.
I don't know if we've seen development in this region. I mean, we had storms in the region last year, but I don't know if any of them actually formed in that region. But you can see there's a definitely a circulation there, and the Hawaiian Islands are up here. So we're talking pretty far south and west of the of the Fire Island of the Hawaiian Islands. But we do have Tropical Depression 1C, and it's at latitude 11 north, 147.4 west. Top winds are 35 miles per hour. It is forecast to become a tropical storm, and it looks fairly well defined on the satellite. You'll notice that the track is basically west or west northwest right through this whole week, and at its closest point to the Big Island, it's at least 400. It's almost 500 miles to the south. So this is not going to have any impact really at all on Hawaii. And there are a couple of systems in the eastern Pacific, which we can take a look at. Give me a moment here and I'll bring that up. So we'll go to the eastern Pacific, and you'll see that there's 1C. We have disturbed weather to the east of that has a 40% chance of developing in the next 7 days. And then off the south coast of Mexico in the Gulf of Tehuantepec, we have low pressure developing there, and conditions appear favorable for gradual development to a tropical depression later this week. And on the Atlantic side, tropical cyclone formation is not expected for the next 7 days. So there you have it.
Lovely. The Central Pacific, if there is a storm that obtains a name, that's different from the storms that form over in the Eastern Pacific. Is that
Right.
correct?
And
Right.
I think they have a list that wherever they left off from the last time, they start from
Yeah.
there. I think. I know
Yeah.
that's still how they do it in the East Pacific. I don't know if that's the case in the Central Pacific. Let me see if we can get the names here. I know they got a separate. Yeah, if it's in the Central Pacific zone, there's a whole different set of names for that. Um, and you would think it would be, they should have the names, the link of the names easily accessible, but no, it's all hidden away someplace. Product, educational resources, historical summaries, tropical cyclone names. I'm sorry. Um, so let's go to the central. This would be the central North Pacific. Yeah. So there's list one, list two, list three, and list four. So I don't know where they are. So where they are in this. So we'll find out when they upgrade this to a tropical storm. It could be a Coney, it could be Aka, it could be Alika, it could be Ana. On the other hand, if it's somewhere in the ends, it could be Nolo, Nona, Nike, or Niala, just among many others on this list. So that's going to be the big mystery. Which is the name that they're up to? So we'll see. All right, who's got Briller Jeopardy? You or me?
I think I do. I think I do. We held off on it on Thursday. No, excuse me, on Wednesday because we were off on
We
Thursday.
were off on
So
Thursday.
so let me go get them, and we shall proceed. I've got to go through a variety of different methodologies here to get to the questions. Where are you? There we go. All right, so we continue on Briller Jeopardy with the average number of 90. I just want to make sure this is correct. Yes, it is. Average number of 90-degree days from June through August with these five cities. And Joe, we start off with, and again, this, well, maybe have we done this before? Yeah, we did do this.
All
So
right, man.
yeah, so you probably have it, Joe.
All right, let's see what I
I got
got.
any.
Um, Okay. All right, the last one I have here is, let's see. I don't know if we did this. I don't remember. I don't remember doing this one. All right. Did we do Oklahoma City?
It doesn't seem to ring a bell.
Okay, so then I must have this. Okay, so anyway, number of 90-degree days in June through August in the following cities. We will start with Oklahoma City.
Well, can we try a number like 55? Or is that too low?
That's a pretty good guess. That's actually a very good guess. I would give you a very good guess, a silver star for that. Let's put it that way. Okay, it's a little low, but it's not too far away. John M at 62. You're also very close. You're very close. And those of you who are throwing up 58s are also very close. The double nickels, no, you're a little too low. I'm trying to see if anybody else. Gotta go scroll back up. Um, Frank R at 64. Chuck Cardillo at 60. Ring the bell for Chuck as he got it at 60.
60, Chuck. There you go.
Next, we have Orlando.
Orlando. Hang on for a second. I'm refreshing here to see how many likes we have, and we've got 53 likes so far, at least according to my counter. So what was it again? Orlando. How many? How
Orlando.
many? So, oh, what possibly could be? What possibly could we have for Orlando? Uh, hmm. I will say, Joe, for Orlando, I will say 65.
Another good guess. A little low, but another good guess. Tyler Finga and Mary and Maggie P at 72, and Joe Gaffney at 72. You're all right there. And no, that's not it. They're right there. They're just a little too high.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And Ruben Fairchild at 70 is a little too low. So the answer is David Fuller at 71.
Mr. Fairchild, by the way, is criticizing you on your clothes, but what else is new?
Let me see what he said. I'll have to go back.
He says, "How come these guys don't get dressed up for the show?" He does give me
I
points for the fact that every once in a while I'll come
I
out with a
am I am
nice little
dressed
sweater.
I am dressed up for the show. This is dressed up for me. Philadelphia.
Filthy Delphia. Hmm.
Philadelphia.
Well, let's see. New York City is 17, and Chicago would be 18. I suspect Philadelphia might be a little bit higher than either one of those cities, so I'll say 22.
22. You're in that good guess category this week. This week, 22 is a good guess. It's a little low, but it's a good guess. Excuse me.
I think the chairman said that already this season they've had 25 90-degree plus days already, but you know, been
Ruben
a crazy summer.
Rothschild. Ruben Rothschild at 25 and Frank R at 25 are right there. Joe Gaffney gets it at 26.
Okay, Joe. Had the pleasure of meeting Joe way back in 2019 when I gave a talk at the North Babylon Library. So
Joe and I go way back. Way
yeah,
back.
yep.
Um, Phoenix. Now remember, the folks, 92 is the highest it could be. So Phoenix.
Phoenix. Well, let's see. I'm going to go with what we said, or what the chairman said for Las Vegas. He said Las Vegas gets 88. I can't possibly imagine much lower than that for Phoenix. So I'm just going to say 88. I don't think I'm going to be too far off by saying
No, you're
88.
not too far off, but you're again a little low. But Christinapedia, Alan Rupa, both nail it at 91.
91. Wow.
All
So
right,
out of the 92 summer days, there's only one day out of the 92 on average that does not get to 90 degrees.
that's correct.
Wow.
And the last one today is Providence. Providence.
Providence, Rhode Island. Well, New York is 17, Boston is 13, Providence is more or less in between the two cities, so I'll say 15.
The logic is good, but it's way too high. You should have added one other factor in there, and that's probably a sea breeze. Uh,
Yes.
Da- David Scott got it 10, 10 for Providence. And
And there you go, David. That's for you.
and
10.
Ari Mack also got 10. What was this is the bonus question? The all-time high in San Francisco.
I'm sure they've hit 100 at least once. I'll say 100.
Um, it's a good guess, but it's not high enough. Howard A. Very nice. I'm impressed. 106.
106. And we're talking about it.
106.
And we're talking about a city, Joe, where probably like 95% of the population doesn't have an air conditioner.
Correct.
So that's got to be rough.
106, and that 106 was recorded at San Francisco International Airport, which is 14 miles south of downtown San Francisco. So it's kind of inland, sort of.
I'll bet you that 106 occurred not in June or July, but probably either September or October during the Santa Ana
Santa Ana.
season. Yeah.
In fact, wait a second. Uh, just a second here. Give me a moment. Where did it go? Now, why did it do that?
You had it and you lost it?
Yeah, and now, oh, here it is. Okay, never mind. Yeah, you're right. Actually, September 1st, 2017, 106.
Yep.
Now, I got a trivia question for you.
All
Okay,
right.
so today on MeTV, I happened to be watching when I Love Lucy was on,
I
and it
was wondering what episode they were going to show because I was in the car on I-91, but
right,
I did think about the fact, like, damn, I'm missing I Love Lucy now. So,
right, and it was the equal rights episode.
Equal
Okay,
Pasquale.
right, right, equal rights, correct.
Right.
Um, now, uh, the Ricardos and the Mertzes then went out to a restaurant to eat in that episode, and my the trivia question that I'm going to ask you is, um, what was the location of that restaurant, the street and avenue
Oh,
in
Joe.
in Manhattan?
Oh, I have no clue. I mean, I'm just getting back into I Love Lucy. It has been a long time since I saw episodes that, and here's the thing for all of you I Love Lucy fans, you ought to write to MeTV and complain, or even Channel 5 here in New York, because they had I Love Lucy for God knows how many decades. And now I Love Lucy is on, to my knowledge, it's only on once a week, and that's on Sundays at 12:30.
Ma'am, if you got Amazon Prime or if you got, you know, Tubo or all the other, you could find the show's there anyway. The show
Are
you can
you
watch
asking
it
this
there.
question because it's an impossible question? I
Of
mean,
course.
like
But I'm
6:23
gonna give
Eastern.
Christinapedia a lot of credit though. She is actually not that far off. 34th and 5th. Okay. She
Wait a
is
minute, that's where Schrafft's is.
right, right. She's not that far off at 34 and 5th. The answer is 39th and 8th. Because when Fred calls the police, he says, meet us at 39th and 8th. the restaurant at 39th and 8th. So there you go. They were at a restaurant at 39th Street and 8th Avenue. So it was on the
That's,
west side.
I must tell you, that's probably very close to what Gene Shepard, the humorist, would have called the Whoopee District,
Yeah.
at least sometimes later. Not necessarily in the 50s, but by the 60s and 70s. You go to 8th Avenue and anywhere like within a few blocks of 39th Street,
Oh yeah.
and
And
it could
Port
be,
and,
it
and
could be,
Port Authority.
yeah, it could be
Like,
most interesting.
exactly. All right. On that note, we're going to say goodnight. And remember, tomorrow night, a bit of a late start, probably 8 o'clock or 8:05. The latest it would be, I would think, it'd be about 8:05. So we'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Hope
Have
again.
a
Hope
good night,
everybody had a
folks.
great weekend. David Fuller and Scott Briller, thank you for hitting the tip jar. We'll see you tomorrow.
Night, folks.